So before I begin, and I know you guys are a small crowd, but I'm wondering what your backgrounds are. What are you, ma'am?
I'm a plant biologist. I work on genome editing.
Cool. Ma'am, are you staying?
Yes, I am.
And what is your background?
Background.
Yes.
I'm just very interested.
All right, that works too.
Yeah.
All right, you said you're oil, right? You are?
Engineering, electrical material.
Very cool. Okay, and sadly they're already. All right. So the deal is, can I scroll? I would like to scroll. I want to get on a full screen.
If you keep talking, I'll try and figure it out.
Yeah. So this is the deal. And my name is Cottitta, and I'm a college student in Pennsylvania. And I was doing this work for, for Vimana Notion Aerospace, a startup company in India. And what they've been doing is that they've been doing an educational outreach program, along with a bunch of other things, and that they've been successful in India, and they want to promote this in America. So me being new and trying to get myself into engineering, I was like, okay, I'm going to make these PowerPoints and get my foot in the door. That team could not come, sadly, so I'll be presenting on their behalf. And this is called the Notion Space Education Specialist, or Bridging the Gap Between Education and Public Outreach Through Innovative Scientific Research. Two that did work on this is Sandhya Rao and Jayamakor Venkatasan. I wish I could speak Hindu. I'd probably get it much better. All right, so is there a clicker, sir?
I'll just prompt me and I'll do it.
Yeah, just, okay, then next slide we go. Okay, so you're probably wondering, this is entire, space exploration also involves educational outreach. The same happens with biology, the same happens with rock climbing. People get interested in rocks. So how do we appeal a student to this? And you think we're saying, well, it fascinates us, but to many it's a barren landscape. And how do we appeal a student to the history of exploration of this planet that we know through self-interested reading of the news and research that this planet is not dead at all. It is dead, but it was not dead at all once. It was once very living and has a lot of potential. It is a set. I know there's another presenter that said comparing the Christopher Columbus and the New World, and this is basically our Christopher Columbus moment. And you match that with Apollo 11 and you get the next big thing. Or how, even if it's not Mars, how do we even appeal to them the overview effect from low Earth orbit? It's what the overview effect is what astronauts get so, they get zoned away at their work and duties because they just have this, they're able to observe our living Earth in real time every 45 minutes. They're watching the weather, they're watching the cities pop up, they're looking at the thunderstorms, the auroras, and you think for a second, like, if many people started, and then they have a feel of, wow, we need to really save this world, we need to start doing better things. So, and they're trying to, you're trying to present that to kids mostly because when we were once kids, we retained most of we retained those memories better because it stuck to our hearts instinctively, not by force or education or promotion of anything. Okay, so we move forward, and I spelled that wrong, but education and public outreach form some part of any space initiative and treated as one entity. Education is not the same as public outreach. We're just going to get that clear. This proposal will make a clear distinction between education and the public is to effectively educate itself as the recipient of outreach activities. So you're trying to mend these two things together. This proposal makes for a clear distinction between the education and public outreach and outlines an educational initiative called an SES. This plan will coordinate educators, teachers, ministries of education, and the national space agencies and international governing bodies to acknowledge this high-level program. A unified approach to this is essential to increase scientific literacy. People will want to focus more on the harder topics of school itself, the things we were all burdened the most: math, science, even social studies. But that people will want to move forward and pursue those harder topics for a greater reward at the end, whatever that goal is for them. And as said, the clarification, here we go. Clarification in short term, high audience attraction to inform and promote awareness of space-based initiatives. and the whereabouts of what's being promoted. That can apply to the elementary level, that can apply to middle school, high school, and that promoted at the university level. The American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics does this very well. That's why they have competitions every year for our university students or any college students, depending where you look, to submit designs, white paper proposals, get their hands dirty in what's involved to actually making something like that happen. Very cool concepts have come out, and if you see the end results of all the papers submitted, it's an immense amount. So it's very clear at the college level, people are firmly pursuing those interests, those space-based initiatives, some way or another. So, but now the deal is that with the changing social media and society, that, and I'm going to get to it later, I'm going to say in a nutshell now, is that social media is now custom tailoring what people want to see. So if you want to try to get space exploration to someone that just wants to see Kanye West, that's going to be hard. Even he or she knows that she likes space, you need to get that to them. Otherwise, they won't see it unless it's by their own initiative. They'll Google search it, but that's hard. That's hard to come across. So reflections on previous, simple terms, how would today's means promotion work in a globalized society and connected world? Well, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vines, Twitch, they all do that very well, okay? And the educational insight to be brought to the home through the internet and beyond the classroom. So MIT has all their online courses, or all their courses are on an online platform. So anyone can access the same classes as an undergrad, which is really interesting. And you got to bring that in, since everyone's having more access to a computer, you should probably start doing the same things for kids. And then that's why. That you need to start bringing that closer to them instead of just waiting for them to come to the classroom. And this applies to STEM topics or anything beyond space. We see it happen every day. And the initiatives we'll be looking into today is the Science of the Sphere, which is actually something developed by the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Agency. It's really cool. And imagine Mars through native eyes. Now this is something that I've seen before in various ways, but they actually have taken this initiative and brought it to India. So, and also Girls Go to Mars is a Girl Scout. I'm going to call it the Girl Scout format of the Space Exploration Merit Badge for Boy Scouts. It's more or less the same deal, and they focus it on Mars. There we go. So the Science on the Sphere. It's a public outreach initiative because most people are coming and gravitating toward an event that includes this object. And you'll see it in the next slide. It's developed by NOAA and now used by several organizations and universities, including NASA. It uses a multitude of projectors to emit a combined display of changing interface on a spherical overlay, so, a lot of projectors pointing on a globe use the same image all around the globe. And the Science on a Sphere program provides an effective means of communicating complex and hard to visualize science concepts in an intuitive and captivating manner. So this is how it's going to look. Boom. That is a real-time image of weather patterns of the Earth. Put on a globe and overlay from multiple projectors. And that's what the Science of the Sphere does. It brings those widely big, how can I say, like you're putting all that data onto a globe and you can do it in real time. That's the coolest part. And more so for Mars, it'd be the same exact deal. You could do that with the sun, you could do that with Venus, but in our case, we're going to focus it on Mars, and it's just as interesting because you can see, because you could allow yourself, like even I saw it at the Goddard Space Flight Center, I could sit, I was able to just come up close and watch the weather patterns of the Northeast just happen over a 10-day span. It was fascinating to me. And anyone else that was in the room was like, oh, this is so cool. We've never heard of this before. And that's what they're trying to employ. Now this is slow down for a bit. So this is a very costly piece of equipment, and that it would be a worthy investment for the SNES initiative to have these Science on the Spheres. Most of them are stationary, but the ability to bring them along and bring it to the classroom, bring it to the auditorium, or even to the park, and under appropriate conditions, bring it to a park and let the public see what technology is there, and exposing them to different forms of STEM. You know, it'd be really cool, especially in New York City. Like, that's like the most immediate example I can think of. Okay, and then what they want to do, what Vermont wants to do, is to take this with the Maven satellite application. Now, everyone knows, for the most part, that Maven is the new satellite that's being launched by NASA. And NASA has used the existing National Science on a Sphere program to develop a facilitated program about Maven and Mars science. So, in a nutshell, NSES wants to use that same concept. The Science on a Sphere program uses a room-sized global display system to the project planetary data onto a 6-foot diameter suspended sphere. So it's going to be pretty big. But as Maven's role is to get a map of Mars and the atmospheric information that it'll be channeling through the satellite, it would be worth the 6-foot wide Science on a Sphere. And that you'd be seeing it in, I wouldn't say real time, but you would see it the 8 minute, you'd have it 8 minutes after the fact. So that is real time, more or less. And that the Maven Science on a Sphere project for Invisible Mars brings the science of Maven to the general public through Science on a Sphere installations in conjunction with the Science on a Sphere organization. The Science on a Sphere network, and the Association of Science Technology Center meetings via remote technologies. The Invisible Mars project includes professional development opportunities for museum practitioners. Now that would be wicked if you could have your local, I won't say local museum, but prominent museum having this the Science on a Sphere program. It would probably bring in a lot more people. So let's move on to the next idea. Imagine Mars with a native ice. Now in the Space Exploration Merit Badge, this was one thing we had to do. We had to design a colony for and how it would work, and the obstacles and constraints that would be at hand for this theoretical colony that the Scouts had to create. And this is more or less the same thing. The National Science and Arts Education Initiative, where students design and share a futuristic Mars community for 400 people. And through that process, since it's mostly targeted for elementary and middle school kids, you're targeting them to discover the extreme Martian environment and imagine what life might be like on the red planet. Finally, they create a project that artistically reflects their knowledge of Mars, understanding of community, and hopes for the future. Ooh, my bad. And as I was saying, the Girl Scout edition of the Space Exploration, Girls Go to Mars. So, and the deal is that it would target an underrepresented audience in science, girls. So the project builds on existing Girl Scout tradition exposing science, math, and technology projects by focusing the theme on Mars exploration and the science of various missions upcoming or on the red planet. And yes, it's very similar to the Boy Scouts Exploration Merit Badge requirements. They would get a badge, how it works. If they go, they would get the Girl Scouts would get a kit to bring out to the entire unit. And that they would be able to conduct their own experiments, their own, self-pacing research and yeah, taking their time understanding it all. So, and then they expect to have a kit like this as they're working on it right now. They would have a kit available at conferences and to download electronically by next year, which is good. As long as it's nothing to pay for, it's a self-investment. So they want to get their name out in lieu with that, an ability to let Girl Scout units download this and share it amongst at the meetings.
Before I interrupt, going further, has the next speaker arrived yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we're almost done.
You got 1 minute.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Real close.
No, we're literally almost done. So the ties of social media and calculating effectiveness. So in 2014, a survey conducted by Vermont Motion Aerospace, an independent company using telephone inquiry, social network, Facebook, Twitter, and so on, has found out that 77 of the respondents had an interest in space exploration. Well, that's good. Okay, 70% thought that a national space program was important, even better. 30% recognized ESA, better, and 75% knew that NASA was an organization. Wonderful. So no one's out of the loop. In book Space Marketing, Walter Pester used a theoretical model that outlines the effectiveness factor for public outreach. And it would come out as C equals cost of communication, C equals T total of communication, total of the communication network, N equals number of people reached, and E equals effectiveness of the outreach. So is it self-going, self-expanding? And that's important because the more popular it is, the more it's going to be known about. And NSS for Green Tag India is this is the cool, now this is where the plants come in, because this is what they've been actively doing, is that education has a different audience for a different purpose completed compared to public outreach. For example, Green Tag India has an excellent base entitled Project Spinach. Now here we go. The students grow plants. Now it's like, well, anybody can grow plants and make a garden, even at a school, in a home, whatever. But the difference is that the students in the classroom environment are growing plants and at the same time learning what it would mean to grow on Mars and the ability to grow those plants in different environments. And that's the important part. Now, for the most part, the conclusion is that as we all look towards space exploration and mission programs, it is just important to get the word out there and for people to understand that this is really important, and that at the same time they need to start exposing kids at a younger age to let them understand that this is a thing, and that they should, to encourage them, not force them, but to encourage them to focus on these projects, or to focus on interest, keeping interest, and hopefully pursuing that later in life. Now again, I'm just speaking on their behalf. Do you see any potential in this in America? Raise your hand. All right, perfect. Four people.
When the astronauts were training to go to the moon, that was big, and the young astronauts programs, around the United States and stuff to encourage.
Exactly. So these are programs. These are programs that they are working toward. Vermont and Ocean Aerospace are working toward these programs, and also these programs that have gone successfully. I believe that is it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.